Have you ever wondered how a simple walk in the field you can turn it into a scene of pure chaos and courage? Think about the peace of mind of an old man, walking slowly, enjoying the silence of nature, not knowing that something that is so unexpected and scary is about to happen. Life often surprises us in the most memorable, simple, and it's just such a surprise that makes this story so interesting. Have you ever gone through a situation in which you have to act quickly in the face of a danger of a sudden? Stay with me until the very end, because that's all you're going to find out. Now you can surprise you in ways that you would never have imagined. The story of a dog who, in the face of a swarm of angry bees, he showed a courage that few have. It is a story that shows the power of the instinct for self-protection, loyalty, and true love that only dogs can give. Keep track of this story and experience the thrill of a close as we find out how the bravery of a companion of the four-legged turned into a game and have saved the life of a person who, at the time, it was thought to be on a journey together. You'll notice that many of the times the power of an animal, and you can overcome even the most dangerous of a man's love and courage for all of us. Stay with me till the end, because this story is more than just a show. It's a real example of the fact that even in times of crisis, loyalty, and the instinct for self-protection, it can make all the difference. And the one who comes in the following, we will show you just that. Get ready for a story that will touch your heart and make you think about how much our four-legged friends are able to do by their own, even under the most adverse circumstances. After all, who ever heard of a dog that had to face the danger of love? You are going to feel the emotions with every detail of this story, and I'm pretty sure that it will live long in the memory. Then, continue on to me, because in the next chapter shows the courage of this bitch, who without a moment's hesitation ran into a swarm of angry bees to protect the person that she was in love with. If this story has touched your heart, or brought to the surface something for the courage and loyalty of you have experienced or witnessed it, leave a comment here below. Sharing your experience helps to build a strong community where we can learn from each other and spread out the examples of true love. In addition to this, if you like this content, please like the video, as it really makes all the difference, so that more people can have access to inspiring stories like this one. Each and every enjoy is a recognition of the fact that this type of story deserves to be known and shared with you, helping to spread a message of hope and courage. And if you want to continue with stories of the exciting moments of heroism and love, please subscribe to the channel. Here, we seek to bring the contents to be played with the heart, and they remind us of how much our four-legged friends are able to do that for us, and to reinforce the importance of valuing each and every gesture of loyalty. Your participation is very important in order for this channel to grow and to reach more people like you to believe in the power of true love. So don't leave it for them to interact, comment, like, and subscribe. All of this has strengthened our community, and it encourages us to continue bringing you stories that are inspiring and emotionally. After all, a story of courage, such as that of the dog, which took on the swarm, it reminds us that love and loyalty can overcome any obstacle. Stay with me here, because there's still so much more for you to discover and to thrill you. I now want to go more in depth on this topic because of the courage of the dog and reveal something that a lot of times it is hidden in your daily routine, something we can call inner power, a real transformation that happens when life demands a decision fast and powerful. When we think of the loyalty of an animal, you usually imagine a spouse who is just not on our side, but in practice, it is this loyalty manifests itself in ways that seem to defy logic and reveal the mindset of the protection that go beyond the basic instinct. It is something that makes us think about the impact that a decision would be not only but also to the story of those who witnessed such an act of bravery. After all, it is the one that motivates her in the face with a swarm of angry bees, getting the bites without a moment's hesitation. The answer is, at its heart, in her in-depth understanding of the bond that links it to its owner. In this connection, it is a kind of language, silence, A decision to protect that which is born out of an intuitive understanding of the well-being of others is a top priority. It is not just a matter of protecting the owner of the threat, but said that, in his mind, by the loyalty, that's a decision that outweighs any of the pain in the moment. These are the large stocks that show the impact of a decision made in the heat of the moment. It is a decision that many times it's based on something that we might call the true, hidden, a feeling of unconditional love, which is manifested in the courage of those who don't think twice about risking it all to save someone you love. This revelation leads us to question our own decisions in the face of obstacles that are similar. How many times are we faced with a situation in which it is the courage to need to speak up, even when everything around you seems to be against us? Perhaps it is at this point that a true transformation happens, when we can see beyond the fear, beyond the immediate danger, and to realize that the force that moves you is greater than any adversity. It is like a journey to the inner one-on learning that tells us that it is the determination to act with courage is born out of a mindset that adds value to the other, which means that the impact of an action of love, you can transform the situation from chaos at the moment of salvation. And this is the defense they are silent, that the decision to fight against what seems like the impossible is what makes this story truly be a life lesson, an example of which, very often, the power that we have inside of us is the ability to change everything around us. It is in this context that the very essence of bravery is revealed, not only to the action the brave and don't give in to fear, and understand that each and every act of courage, it is an opportunity for transformation and impact on the life of a person who is in need of help. And while the story surrounds us, it is a question: how can we apply this idea in your own routine, which in our day, in the face of challenges that can seem insurmountable? This is an issue that deserves attention, because it is the answer, perhaps, lies precisely in our ability to see beyond what is visible of the act with an open heart, and understood that the real power lies in the decision to fight for what we believe in. And so, this is a story of bravery. He invites us to reflect on where we have been able to go to someone that you love, the force that can awaken within ourselves when the situation calls for a decision fast and powerful. After all, this is a journey of courage and unconditional love. It is a lesson that we can deliver to the whole of life, is an inspiration for us to realize that the greatest changes will begin precisely at the time at which we decide to act from the heart. With this understanding, we can see that the impact of a decision of courage, that is not the only action in and of itself, but the mindset that it has, on the strength of the desire to do good, even in the face of danger, and on the understanding that sometimes our actions can be the greatest example of love and protection for those who need it most. I now want to go more in depth on this topic, because of the courage of the dog, and reveal something that a lot of times it is hidden in your daily routine, something we can call inner power, a real transformation that happens when life demands a decision fast and powerful. When we think of the loyalty of an animal, you usually imagine a spouse who is just not on our side, but in practice it is this loyalty manifests itself in ways that seem to defy logic and reveal the mindset of the protection that go beyond the basic instinct. It is something that makes us think about the impact that a decision would be not only but also to the story of those who witnessed such an act of bravery. After all, it is the one that motivates her in the face with a swarm of angry bees, getting the bites without a moment's hesitation. The answer is, at its heart, in her in-depth understanding of the bond that links it to its owner. In this connection, it is a kind of language, silence, a decision to protect that which is born out of an intuitive understanding of the well-being of others is a top priority. It is not just a matter of protecting the owner of the threat, but said that, in his mind, by the loyalty, that's a decision that outweighs any of the pain in the moment. These are the large stocks that show the impact of a decision made in the heat of the moment. It is a decision that many times it's based on something that we might call the true, hidden, a feeling of unconditional love, which is manifested in the courage of those who don't think twice about risking it all to save someone she loves. This revelation leads us to question our own decisions in the face of obstacles that are similar. How many times are we faced with a situation in which it is the courage to need to speak up, even when everything around you seems to be against us? Perhaps it is at this point that a true transformation happens, when we can see beyond the fear, beyond the immediate danger, and to realize that the force that moves you is greater than any adversity. It is like a journey to the inner one-on learning that tells us that it is the determination to act with courage is born out of a mindset that adds value to the other, which means that the impact of an action of love, you can transform the situation from chaos at the moment of salvation. And this is the defense they are silent, that the decision to fight against what seems like the impossible is what makes this story truly be a life lesson, an example of which, in times of crisis, loyalty, and the instinct for self-protection, it can make all the difference. It is in this context that the very essence of bravery is revealed, not only to the action the brave and don't give in to fear, and understand that each and every act of courage, it is an opportunity for transformation and impact on the life of a person who is in need of help. And while the story surrounds us, it is a question: how can we apply this idea in your own routine, which in our day, in the face of challenges that can seem insurmountable? This is an issue that deserves attention, because it is the answer, perhaps, lies precisely in our ability to see beyond what is visible of the act with an open heart, and understood that the real power lies in the decision to fight for what we believe in. And so, this is a story of bravery. He invites us to reflect on where we have been able to go to someone that you love, the force that can awaken within ourselves when the situation calls for a decision fast and powerful. After all, this is a journey of courage and unconditional love. It is a lesson that we can deliver to the whole of life, is an inspiration for us to realize that the greatest changes will begin precisely at the time at which we decide to act from the heart. With this understanding, we can see that the impact of a decision of courage, that is not the only action in and of itself, but the mindset that it has, on the strength of the desire to do good, even in the face of danger, and on the understanding that sometimes our actions can be the greatest example of love and protection for those who need it most. I now want to go more in depth on this topic. Because of the bravery of that shit, it reveals a truth is hidden, what is often forgotten in the rush of day-to-day, for the strength that is born of the spirit of protection and unconditional love. This is the force that seems to appear out of nowhere. It's really a conscious decision, an approach that it has adopted instinctively at the time of the crisis. This is the decision to act, even in the face of danger, and reveals a new understanding of the impact of their actions. It may be more than she can imagine. It is as if, at that time, it was connected to a kind of intuition that goes beyond its basic instinct, a kind of wisdom that only the one who really loves you is able to manifest itself in times of extreme adversity. The essence of this history shows that the greatest changes take place exactly in those moments that we've decided to put the good of others above our own limitations, fears, pain, temporary. This bitch does not think twice. It was dominated by fear or pain from the bite. His mind was clear, in order to protect his master at all costs. This is a powerful lesson, because it reinforces the idea that the thing that is really important in our journey, it's not just the action, but it is the mindset that drives us to act in a certain way. Spirit of courage, love, loyalty can transform into a state of chaos on a true story of overcoming it. And in that revelation, it's essential to understand that often what prevents us from acting with courage is not the lack of physical strength, but in our own minds, they need to be trained to look beyond the fear, beyond the immediate danger. With this in mind, we can understand that this story shows us that he is the true strength of a being lies in your ability to make decisions, to choose an approach that goes beyond the basic instinct of self-preservation. with the courage of a dog who is faced with a swarm of angry bees is a powerful metaphor for all of the difficult decisions that we all face in your life. These are the decisions that will reveal our true essence, that which is hidden on the inside and often obscured by doubts, worries, or insecurities. The mindset of protection and unconditional love, it is a true inner transformation which causes us to see the impact of our actions can go much further than you think, framing stories and inspire others to also take action with courage and determination. And, as we reflect on the journey of courage, it's clear that it's not just about the act in the face of danger, but when it comes to the decision to not give in to fear, don't give up what you truly believe is right, even when everything seems to be against us. This story shows us the power of a positive mindset, a commitment to protect those we love, is able to overcome the obstacles seemingly insurmountable. And at the same time, it causes us to ask ourselves, how do we cultivate that mindset into our daily routines? How do we train our mind to act with courage, even in the face of challenges, and they seem to be bigger than our own strength? These questions will lead us to understand that true transformation happens when we choose to act on it with the heart, and when we strengthen our minds, protection, and love. Because, deep down, that's the most important lesson, which is, what is the impact of the decision was born of a mindset which appreciates the value of the other, which means that the real power lies in the courage not to give up, to fight, to protect. And this is a story of bravery. It is a call to each and every one of us to reflect on how far you're willing to go, whom you love, how much you can wake up the inner strength to make a difference in the lives of those who need us during that crucial time. After all, the whole of this journey and reveals that, often, the biggest transformation is happening inside of us, the decision to tackle the seemingly impossible, and guided by the mindset that appreciates the value of love, loyalty, and the courage to take action. And so, we go forward, knowing that every step in that direction, it can make all the difference in our story and for those that you trust. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that is the story of a dog who had to face the swarm of bees, which is not only a story of bravery, but it is a real lesson in the power of the spirit, who decides to take action with purpose, even in the face of danger. When we think of the transformation as this action is, we see that it goes much further than just the act of protecting somebody else. It is a revelation of what is going on behind the scenes in the mind of those decisions, and the quiet that you take when everything seems to be against us. In this game, unconsciously, we show that the real power lies in our ability to choose in a position of bravery and loyalty, even when the fear of pain or chaos they seem to dominate the scene. And that decision many times is the key to unlocking our own inner transformation, because it reveals the true hidden. They are able to go beyond our limits when we are motivated by a genuine feeling of love and care. The power of this mindset is like a light that illuminates the paths of the most difficult, and thus showing that even in the face of adversity, we can find that inside of us is a never-ending source of courage. This font is in the majority of cases. It is hidden under the layers of insecurities or doubts, but it shows exactly the moment we decided to act with an open heart, even though I know that we will have difficulties. Every decision we make, every action of bravery, it's a piece that makes such a journey of transformation. And when you think about it, we realized that the real revelation is not only in action, in and of itself, but the mindset that drives him. This is the mentality that it is possible to fight, and that it is possible to protect yourself, even when everything seems to fall apart. It's what turns a simple story of bravery a great source of inspiration. It's like this shit, in the face of the cluster, were also facing their own limitations, and finding a strength in that maybe she didn't know he had. This insight, that is a real eye-opener, showing us that within each and every one of us is the capacity for resilience, love, and encouragement that they need only to be awakened by a conscious decision. And that decision is born out of an understanding that our actions have an impact on not only our own lives, but in the lives of those who depend on you, She stresses that this is often the biggest impact is not at the greatness of the deed, but the intention is what drives him. When we decide to act, moved by a sense of true love, it echoes in our journey to shape who we are and how we can influence the world around us. This is the story, therefore, is a proof that the transformation begins within each and every one of those moments in which we have decided not to give in to the fear, but rather embrace the courage and loyalty that we carry in our hearts. And in so doing, we open the doors to a new understanding of who we are and what we are able to do in standing up for what we believe in. It is a call to silence, so that each and every one of us will wake up to this force. There is the potential that is always ready to be activated when the need arises. Because deep down, this is a journey of courage and unconditional love. This is one of the biggest lessons that we can receive in life. It is the decision to act. The heart is the one that really makes the difference, is to reveal a hidden strength, which often lies dormant, just waiting for the opportunity to express their views. And while the story remains with us, it is clear that the impact of a decision, of valor, of a mindset which appreciates the value of love and protection, and it is something that is self-perpetuating, because it is not only transforms it to the point right away, but it also shapes who we are and inspire others also to discover this inner strength. So, this is a story of bravery. It does not end. She just invites us to explore our own possibilities of transformation, courage, and loyalty as we go on a journey to understand that often the biggest impact comes from a decision-making, simple but full of truth and with purpose. And that is exactly what that truth is hidden within each and every one of us that can make all the difference when it comes to life's demands. That we are the protagonists of the one true story of courage. I now want to go more in depth on this topic, as it's the story of a dog who was faced with a swarm of bees. It reveals a truth that hides many of the times we spent his entire life ignoring it. The power of our mindset at the time you decide to take action. This is a force to be silent, that it often seems to be asleep. It's actually a power that can be activated by a simple act of courage or a conscious decision to protect a loved one. When we think of bravery in this bitch, we realize that she's not done by impulse, but by an understanding of internal loyalty, combined with the spirit of protection, and is able to transform into any one scene of chaos as an opportunity to help save lives. With this understanding, this revelation is silent. It suggests that the impact of our decision-making it can generate not only is the action that we do, but the type of thinking that causes us to act in that way. It is as if, behind every act of bravery, there was an invisible force that makes all the difference. It's a kind of engine inside that pushes us to go beyond our limits. And it is nourished by the values in the deep. A genuine connection with what we believe to be the right one. When this dog decided to meet to see that she didn't have to think in any pain or distress, his mind was clear, in order to protect their own, independent of what might happen to her. At that time, it has shown that it's the true transformation happens when we align our actions with our deepest values, and when you're ready to face your fear head-on, even if it all looks bad. This story is a mirror to all of us, because a lot of times, the daily routine are placed on the choices that seem to be simple, but they carry the power to transform. Choose to act with courage, love, and loyalty, even when it seems that it might be better to back off. It's an exercise in imagination, a mindset that can be trained and grown stronger in the future. In practice, it has shown us that behind every decision, in fact, there is a true, hidden. They are able to go beyond the obvious to explore an inner strength that is so often hidden under a layer of uncertainty. When this force is ignited, it changes everything. The scene changes, and the effect is stronger, and the journey takes on a new meaning. It is at this point that we realized that the true power of decision-making, that is the intention, the motivation, the courage to move forward, even when everything seems to be against us. This courage, this is the mentality of protection. It is a seed that, once planted, flowers on the steps that you can make in people's lives, and that they can inspire others to also find their own strength to hide it. And when you think about all of this, it is clear that the journey of transformation is at this very moment that we've decided to look beyond the visible, beyond the fear or pain, and to connect with that truth, the hidden, which we carry within ourselves, that we are able to make a difference, to be an agent of change, act with courage, even in the face of danger. This story teaches us that true strength does not lie in the absence of fear, but the decision to face up to it. You can use it as a fuel for which it is born out of the heart. And this is the mindset of courage, which manifests itself at just the right time. This is the one that shows us that behind every act of valor, a story is told of the transformation of silence, the revelation that we are all stronger than we think. It's that inner strength that leads us to reflect on our own choices and to realize that a lot of the times, the impact of a single choice, it might be enough to change the whole way. When we understand this, we realize that bravery is not just an isolated act, but an attitude of life, a mindset that enables us to act with purpose, even when everything around you seems to challenge our courage. And in this way, each and every step of the decision-making is like a seed that you plant is a new form of transformation, and a chance for me to show you true strength lies in the decision to do good, to fight for what we believe in, to protect what we love with all our heart. This is a journey of self-discovery and the courage to reveal to us that, regardless of the size of the challenge, the greater the transformation happens when we turn that hidden strength, as we are dedicated to cultivating a mindset of love, loyalty, and courage. And so we'll just keep that constant sense that deep down, we are capable of so much more than you think, and just decide that it is time to take action from the heart. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that is the story of a dog who was faced with a swarm of angry bees, reveals a new layer to the understanding that it is often overlooked in the rush of everyday life. The revelation is hidden. It only manifests itself in times of extreme hardship, to show that our decision-making, the most significant, are born out of a mindset that goes beyond the basic instinct of self-preservation. They come to an understanding of the interior of a quiet strength that comes when we truly believe in the thing that is the most important thing: love, loyalty, and commitment to protect someone we can be. It is as if, behind every act of courage, there's a kind of a rack, is the invisible force that fuels our ability to go beyond what we believe to be possible. This power is not necessarily related to the strength of the physical or the fear of losing it, but the decision to put each other above all things, to understand the impact of our actions, can go much further in the present moment. This is the journey of the transformation of the interior, shows that many times, the greatest revelation that happens in the little things, the decisions that we make, and in those seconds in the key, when everything around you seems to fall apart. With the courage of a dog who is faced with the swarm, getting bites, no rewind, it's a powerful metaphor for all of us. It shows that the real strength is in our minds and in our willingness to fight for what we believe to be fair, even when everything seems to be against us. It is an understanding that the journey is not only to withstand the difficulties, but also on how we decide to react to them. For the mindset on the protection and unconditional love is a seed that, once planted, can thrive in a stock that is changing lives. So, no matter how simple they may seem, they carry an energy that echoes throughout eternity, for it shows that the real impact comes from a conscious choice to act with courage and compassion. When this dog decided to meet to see that she didn't have to think in any pain or distress, it has been an inner clarity that only someone who truly appreciates the value of someone is able to grow. This is clearly a kind of a revelation, and a window into what really matters to you in your journey. And in that revelation teaches us that the force majeure, it is not the one that comes from the outside, but is born from within, out of a mindset which appreciates the value of the other. And he believes that with the love that is genuine, it is a never-ending source of courage. Such an understanding is essential for those who want to make their own decisions, and thus, the positive impact on the lives of the people around you. Because you are, in essence, to the greatest change happens when we woke up This power is hidden. This is the truth which resides in each one of us that calls us to act with authenticity, even in the face of fear or doubt. This is the story of his bravery, and that looks so simple on the surface. It actually shows that you are capable of so much more than we think, when we align our actions with our true selves. And it is this alignment that was born of this mindset that we can and we must protect what we love, even if it means facing one's own limitations. To understand this, we realize that each and every decision that courage is not just an isolated act, but a one piece, which consists of a long journey of self-discovery, one that teaches us that true power lies in our desire to keep on going even when everything seems to come crashing down. This is a valuable lesson, one which invites us to look at both inside and out, from the depths of our inner being, that quiet strength that drives us to act with integrity and love. And so, we will be conscious that the greatest change occurs in the moment when you decided to make the good, even in the face of chaos, feeding into this idea of courage to be that, at one time or another, it reveals our true nature. Because at the end of the day, this story teaches us that the power of decision-making is proportional to the strength of who we are, and that many times, the greatest revelation that is in the simple act of deciding to protect someone with all you've got. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that's the story of a dog who had to face the swarm of bees reveals a dimension that is too often we are not able to see the first one. The very essence of the transformation that occurs when we decide to act on the basis of our mindset. This is a decision to be silent. It too often goes unnoticed is a powerful force that works behind the scenes of our souls, and to shape our actions, reveal our true capacity, strength, and love. When you look at this, the time to be brave, we realized that it just didn't happen by impulse, but by an internal decision. A conscious choice to protect someone you love is stronger than any external threat. This choice is made without hesitation. It is a real eye-opener of our own hidden truths, from the strength that we have inside of us, and that will only become apparent in times of crisis. This strength does not lie in the amount of physical force that one has, but the power of will, and the courage to stand strong even when everything around us seems to be crumbling. It is like that with her at the decisive moment, had to be accessed by a deep layer of its own essence. It is a source of quiet courage which exists in every living thing, but a lot of times it only manifests itself when your life demands a real answer. This revelation leads us to reflect on our own daily decisions about how small actions can trigger a transformation in the interior, which influences everything around us. Each act of love, loyalty, strength, builds a kind of journey of the unseen, and that many of the times we only remember when we look back, and we can see the impact that our actions have had on the lives of others. The mind, in this context, it works just like a seed, which, when grown with care and intention, to generate a collection of attitudes that are changing lives. It is a power that is born out of the understanding that a true transformation happens first in the U.S., where the decisions we make in the stillness of the heart prior to taking any action on the outside. And this power, when awakened, it's a sort of invisible impact, the energy that is spread by inspiring others to also find out that the capacity to act out of love and loyalty. Here it was silent, but the one that has the power to change everything. When a dog has decided to face up to see her, she has shown the greatest strength is in the mindset of protecting what she is carrying. A mindset that does not allow himself to be ruled by fear, but what is on the balls of his most expressive. This attitude was not only a response to an immediate danger, but it's a choice of those who understand the impact of their actions. It goes beyond the present moment, reverberating in the history of the one to whom it protects. This is a revelation teaches us that the whole of the journey of transformation begins with a decision, a choice, to keep the essence intact, even in the times that are most difficult. It reminds us that, behind every act of bravery, there's a mindset that needs to be cultivated, nurtured with strong values, and with the certainty that love is the most powerful force there is. And when you think about it, We realized that the true power of decision-making lies in its ability to prove who you are to the truth, to show what you keep in the bottom of my heart. This is the story of courage in the U.S. invites you to explore even more of the truth that is hidden, that force, that often it is dormant, waiting for the chance to emerge. Because in the end, it all comes down to your willingness to act, to decide, to protect, to preserve that type of thinking that makes us connect to what is most profound in our lives. Thus, for each choice that you make in your life, no matter how simple it may seem, it carries in itself the seed of a development that can have an impact not only our history, but that of those around us. And on this hike, it is an opportunity to find out what is. The real strength is not the absence of fear, but the courage to keep going, feeding off of that mindset of love and care that can make all the difference when it comes to life, requires us to be heroes in the quiet. You decide to act on what they believe to be most important to you. I now want to go more in depth on this topic, because this is the story of a dog to face the swarm of bees reveals a dimension that is too often overlooked in the routine of the day, and it is the very essence of the transformation that takes place when we choose to act on it with a mindset of love, loyalty, and courage. This force is invisible. It is often overlooked. It is an energy that manifests itself in the most critical moments, and it is born out of an internal decision to an understanding of the silent. To protect someone, we can be more valuable than any of the fear or the pain in the moment. When we think of the bravery of this game, we realized that it did not act merely on impulse, but by a deep understanding of their connection to the owner, and as a kind of language silent, that it was born of the bond unbreakable. In this connection, it is a real eye-opener, and a lesson in the power that we have within us is able to overcome obstacles when you have decided to get to it. And it is this that strength, that courage to protect yourself. It's not a matter of physical strength or in the absence of fear, but of a mindset which appreciates the value of each other above everything else, which means that our greatest strength lies in the desire to do good and to fight for what we believe to be the right thing. When this dog met her brood, she has shown that the transformation of the interior, it is just when you decide to put your love into action, even in the face of danger. This decision is born out of a mindset that does not allow himself to be ruled by the fear of it, but it is found in the guts of a never-failing source of strength. It is as if, at that moment, a decisive, it's accessed by a layer of strength that lies in each and every one of us, is a power that is only revealed when your life demands a real answer. This revelation is one of the biggest lessons that can be learned, for it shows us that in our journey of growth and transformation is not only a great performance, but above all an attitude of mind that enables us to act with courage and authenticity. This position is a seed that, when planted, germinate in the attitudes and behaviors that can impact lives in such a profound way, creating a chain of impacts that runs through the generations. It is this mindset that will help us see beyond the fear, beyond the chaos of the immediate, and find that the impact is not only in action in and of itself, but the intention is what drives him. This is intended to protect, to nurture, to love unconditionally, and that is what makes for a simple reaction of valor, a true demonstration of the strength of the interior. And it is this strength that comes from a conscious decision. It is able to recognize the courage that maybe I wasn't asleep, just waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. An act of bravery as well. It is no longer an isolated event, and it becomes part of a journey of self-discovery, in which we learn that the greatest transformation happens when we align our actions with our beliefs deeper. Once we take action with this in mind, we have also cultivated a new way of looking at life, in which the impact is not just in the short term, but it's something that echoes in our history and the history of those who depend on our sample. This is the story of courage. He invites us to reflect on how far we are willing to go above and beyond what we believe to be possible, the feeding of this hidden strength that lies within each and every one of us. After all, it is the true bravery is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to face up to it. You can use it as a fuel for the actions that make a difference. And if you make this choice, you are invited to explore what's behind that of our own limitations, and have found that the greatest strength we can develop our mindset of protection, and of love, and of a good courage. This story shows us that the impact of a decision, the truth is that it's something that remains, that the changes that inspires you. And then when we look at this chapter, it is evident that the secret lies in our willingness to choose to act with all their heart, to rely on the strength that is in us, and to understand that true transformation begins exactly at the time of a conscious decision. It is from this mindset that you can build on a journey of growth, which overcomes obstacles, which inspires the other, and it asserts that, many times, the greatest strength is the courage to protect what is most precious to us. If you've read this far, I want to thank you for following this story until the very end. I think that in a way, it reminds us of the courage and true love has a power that goes beyond words and actions, of course. When you have decided to protect someone, even in the face of danger, and we are revealing a part of us that often it is hidden in the routine of day-to-day. This message serves to reinforce that each and every one of us carries within itself a force to be silent, ready to be turned on when you most need it. This content is brought to inspire you or made you think about your own actions and attitudes, that is, such as by signing up on the channel. Here, we aim to share stories that show that, even in situations that are more simple, we can learn valuable lessons about courage, loyalty, and love. Therefore, you will stay up to date with new videos. It can also help to strengthen the mindset of protecting and taking care of, always with a light and natural. Oh, and if you can identify with this story or want to share an experience like it, leave a comment here below. I'm with you till the end, and I like to know what this does for each one of them. It is a trade that is enriching for all of us. Before you go, here's a suggestion. There's a video right here on the side which complements this subject. You can click and keeps me there. I'm pretty sure that you will like to continue this discussion with a story that speaks to the courage and love. Thank you for being with me so far, and I hope to see you in the next video, where we will further explore the stories that show the power of heart, loyal, and determined.